Hello, everybody. We are back. We're back for the 2022 season. It finally began on the 16th of March. So, as the season's back, we're back. It's great to have you all with us. I'm hosting for this one. My name is Alex, and I've got David, Phil, and Marianna with me. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hi there, we're great.
It's
Much,
great.
much
Sorry, Phil.
relieved. Much relieved.
Much relieved,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
My goodness, have we got a lot to talk about. But before we do, I'm going to have to do all the usual stuff. If you've been listening to our podcast since we started, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on that bell so you're notified every time we upload. And also, please go and check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of it, lady and gents. So I'm going to do a very brief summary first, and then we'll get into it. So 1st of February, we see the news that we kind of knew was coming, that the GOAT decided to hang up his cleats for good. Then out of the blue, Ali Marpet, he retires. We're struggling with the salary cap. We've got no idea which free agent to stay in. And then on the 13th of March at 2300 hours and 30 minutes UK time, there is the most wonderful piece of news that a certain man decides to unretire and come back for another season. Phil, you were in bed, I believe, when the news broke through.
Yes,
You must have woken up to your phone just full of notifications.
yeah, I was in bed and all I could hear was the phone going ding, 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 ding. And I thought, oh, hello, Dom and Ian are going at it again. And anyway, when I woke up, I saw 62 notifications. And I read out what everybody had put. I thought, they're having me on. This is a wind up. And it wasn't until I got a message from somebody, a friend of mine in Seattle, that it all came crashing into reality. It was just the most incredible news. You know, that possibly could have happened. You know, I mean, we were doom and gloom. We were a few days ago, and I think the song goes, "What a difference a day makes." I think it was there and then.
Just fantastic. And Mariana, what about you? How did you hear this news, and what was your initial reaction?
I was actually working late as per usual because I work on US hours most of the time. Same way, my phone just popped up a Twitter notification. I was like, "Is this true? Is this a wind up?" There was all the sort of concern that maybe there'd been some sort of falling out between Brady and Arians, and there was talk of Brady might go somewhere else, and so. I think I was a little bit on tenterhooks that he was going to come back and go somewhere else even. But then for him to come back to Tampa and sort of say, I've got unfinished business. I want to do another season at least. It's just put the season onto, such a great note to start with.
Yeah, there was I believe a lot of people saying about San Francisco that he might end up going there. That's his boyhood team. And then, of course, Brady coming back, Mariana, that also raises the question about the Brady effect. Which players we've seen some players come in. We'll get into that in more detail shortly. But a few days after Brady retires, Ryan Jensen signs that contract.
I mean, that's totally, and he even sort of mentioned Brady in the sort of tweets and the social media he put out. So he's definitely come back for Brady, and as you say, it's that Brady effect. He brings players around him that want to go out and want to win, and know that he knows how to lead a team to get that win.
And David, of course, I want to hear about how you heard the news. Your feelings. I mean, as a long-time Buck fan, this must have just been incredible for you as well.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, very similar to Phil. I had the phone on charge in the bedroom. It kept kicking off. I thought I had a dodgy connection and it was just not charging on and off. And to get up in the morning and just to see how it just erupted overnight was just fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, I think when Brady retired, he was really put in a difficult situation by Adam Schefter, sort of breaking that news early, whether he'd really made his mind up or not. And I think he probably felt he was a little bit cornered into making a decision long before he was really ready to. I mean, his father at the time said he wasn't retiring, so clearly that decision hadn't actually been made then. So yeah, I mean, just to get him back, I mean, it turned our whole world around, didn't it? Like we said in the opening, we were doom and gloom. We didn't have a clue who our quarterback was going to be next season. We had players looking to leave all over the place, cap issues. It just looked like we were always already heading back to the dark old Bucks days. But yeah, one social media post and the world's a different place.
Indeed, we were, looking at possibly either Kyle Trask becoming QB1 or Gabbert being re-signed. It was all up in the air. It's certainly great to not have to be concerned about the quarterback situation for another year at least. Now, I've touched briefly, David, about Ali Marpet and a huge loss he's going to be. Was there a slight bit of hope that you might, that you thought he might change his mind, that the Brady effect might come into play there?
Yeah, it would definitely been great to see. I mean, he's had 7 seasons in the league. He's pocketed 34, 38 million quid. So he's done pretty well out of it. I suppose for us Bucks UK fans, it was sadder still that we've actually got such a great relationship with him and his family from all our visits. And it was really sad to see him suddenly just retire like that. And like I say, we were all hoping the Brady effect was going to bring him back, but it appears to be that he's sticking to his guns and he's not coming back, which is a real shame. I mean, that's certainly a massive hole that we've got to fill.
And just some shameless self-promotion quickly coming up here for Bucks UK. We did have Ali Marpet come and join us for an interview in the last off-season. So if you do want to check that out, watch this episode first. Don't click off this one. Once you've seen this episode, check out our YouTube channel and go and see our interview with Ali Marpet. It is well worth watching there. So let's just have a bit more of a discussion about free agency, guys. So a lot of effort again is being put in to bring back players. We're seeing some great signings already. Godwin has now signed a long-term deal. He's off the franchise tag. Mike Evans, Cambray, both restructuring their contracts as well. I mean, Phil, the receiving core is again shaping up to be pretty good because we've had some more additions as well.
Well, we have. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. I was thinking today that when we were going into the season, we had salary cap issues, and I'll be quite honest. Let's be quite honest. Jason Light and it's Mike Greenberg who does the salary caps. They've got to be the Penn and Teller of the NFL, haven't they? Really, how they've got us into this situation. And as for Mike Evans, I can only surmise it must be on about $150 a week because he's been restructuring his contract that many times. It's untrue. But yeah, I mean, Gage is a fantastic addition, and somebody I think what got overshadowed as well is Perryman doesn't let us down, and he's come back for another year. So Godwin, Evans, Perryman, Gage, and then we've also got the other two, Johnson, who when called on towards the end of the season a few drops did that, but he's still there. So yes, we're looking very, very strong at wide receiver as well. Yeah,
and it could get even better because there's rumours about Julio Jones. Hey, we can dream, can't we? And again, it's again, these are very light rumours, so to speak. But the Edelman connections have again come out of the blue, as they always do with Brady each season.
Well, personally, I'd like to see one Mr. R. Gronkowski come back before any of those.
You must be reading my mind there. Let's have a quick chat about Gronk as well. He's not signed yet, or we haven't heard any inkling that of a deal being completed at the moment. But Marianna, surely Brady's back, Gronk's coming back, surely.
You have to think so. It's more of a personal relationship between those two, and I think it's one of those situations where friendship just goes that much further than maybe a payday or anything else. I think Gronk knows he's probably getting towards the end of his career as well, so I think he'd probably rather play with a friend that he enjoys playing with, who's got that sort of almost instinctive relationship where they just know what each other are going to do. He knows where to go, where to be in the right place at the right time. So I've got to hope he's going to come back. It's good to see Brait back, as you say. You know, I think Brait has been sort of Mr. Reliable very quietly. He was always that guy for Winston before we had Brady. And he's still been very good, just very quietly behind the scenes, doesn't make a fuss, just gets on with, you know, what he's asked to do. And never seemed to be bothered that we brought in Gronk and he was kind of like pushed down the line a bit. He seemed to just, you know, take it in his stride. He's happy doing what he's doing. We have lost OJ Howard. He's gone in that tight end room. Sadly, I think
gone to Buffalo on a short-term deal.
I think sadly, I don't think we ever saw the best of him. So, you know, whether he goes to Buffalo and finds some fitness and finds some form, wish the lad well. But I think there's space for us to bring in maybe another tight end. We play a lot of 2 tight ends, so there's space for us to maybe bring someone else in as well. So it'll be interesting to see if we either pick up in the draft or what we're thinking around that as well.
I think there's a certain tight end in Atlanta who might want to get out and might want to go somewhere else. I quite like to have him. Yes, of course, you mentioned OJ Howard there, Marianna, as well, and David, Phil, I'd just like to get your views on this also. You know, a lot of people were saying about OJ, and particularly in the past game, how we just didn't see maybe the potential he had there. But I think what a lot of people forget is he was integral in the blocking.
Yeah,
I mean,
go on, sorry, Dave.
God, I mean, he had moments all through his career with the Buccaneers, but yeah, I mean, he couldn't stay fit, which was a real big issue with him. You know, every season he seemed to miss more and more games each year through injury. And yeah, I mean, we do a lot of blocking, don't we, at tight end, and that's all about protecting that pocket and, you know, supporting when we've got weak links in there. I mean, there's a big question about the blocking. Have we seen the last of Rojo? Because they're worried about him getting Brady killed. And I think, you know, blocking on the line and supporting that is huge for the way that we play. And I think, you know, looking at the tight ends, as we said, we'd probably bring someone in. I think it would be more likely to be a more blocking tight end than it would be a receiver tight end.
Phil, anything you'd like to add to that one?
Yeah, this is one of my biggest worries about what we're doing is that OJ Howard we didn't see the best of OJ Howard. He was a game changer at Alabama, but he got injured, a bad injury with the Achilles, and it really, you know, and we never saw the best of him because he was sensational there. But yes, he did a lot of blocking, you know, and I think with losing Kappa and Marpet, we're looking a bit thin on the offensive line. That is my biggest worry.
About to say, yeah, Kappa, a huge loss alongside Ali Marpet, as you say. But David, let's just stick with that O-line for a moment because Aaron Sinney has re-signed, and we've also brought in from New England tackle Shaq Mason, who is someone that Brady is very familiar with. So hopefully, what do you think? Hopefully those gaps have been plugged.
I think we've started, but I still think we've got a long way to go. Whether we're going to use the draft to do that, Crespel putting sort of young blood in front of protecting Brady. I mean, obviously, Wirfs was a huge success, wasn't he? But that O-line is really going to be the key to our season this year. So, you know, we've got guns everywhere else. That's the one area on offense that we really need to focus on. I'm not sure that we're there yet. I mean, Donovan Smith, our old friend, he's had a lot of good play over the last 2 years, but towards the end, we saw a little bit of the old Donovan Smith as well. So, you know, we've got to hope that he raises his game again. But, yeah, we definitely need more support on that position line.
On the subject of Donovan Smith, I'm not going to rip into him because he improved greatly last season. He really, really did. Obviously, Brady holds players to account. We know that. Donovan was playing alongside Kappa last season. Not just Brady holding Donovan account, but do you think Alex Kappa also had something to do with that? And therefore, we're going to need Shaq Mason to really also help hold Donovan to account to keep his level up, aren't we?
Well, I think it's a whole unit, isn't it? That they've all got to deliver together, and Brady's, going to make them all accountable. And I think that's going back. We were talking about receivers and Tyler Johnson. I do think that's why we've actually got more strength on wide receivers now. It's because actually when it came to those big moments in those last few games season, he was dropping the ball, and Brady won't allow that to happen. You either do the plays or you're out. And I wouldn't be surprised if actually Johnson disappeared before the start of the season. Everybody's got to be accountable in this team. This team is here to win now. We haven't got time to learn and to Brady wants to win another Super Bowl, and so everybody's got to be able to deliver this season.
Let's just go back to the running back situation. I know that has been mentioned briefly already. So there's only one person, gentlemen, that I'm going to go to for this one, and she's smiling, so she knows I'm going to it. And of course, it's got to be Marianna. Marianna, some great news today at the time of recording. Lenny Fournette is coming back, a 3-year deal. You're a big fan of him. You must be thrilled to see him coming back to Tampa.
Oh, obviously, absolutely thrilled to see him come back to Tampa. I've always said he was, a first round pick, and he's been first round talent for us, and we got him for basically nothing. So in terms of bargain player, one of our best pickups, I still say he's one of the best. He's still not actually got that much tread on the tires, so he's stayed relatively healthy, even though he runs quite hard. He's just a joy to watch. I love watching him just run through and break those runs off. So having him back, I think, is huge for us. Staying with those running backs, I think, like you, I think Rojo is possibly on a very sort of thin line there. I'm not sure whether he stays or whether he's even cut before the start of the season. I think, again, there's a high possibility that we potentially pick up a sort of second or third round running back that we can slot in there. He's just been. I just don't think he's stepped up to be what we wanted him to be. He's shown flashes of it at times, but just never sort of consistently. And I think Kershawn Vaughn actually did quite well towards the end of the season when he kind of stepped up and came in as a sort of backup player in certain games. So I think there's a possibility that it might be Rojo's sort of end with Tampa. I'm sort of yet to see.
I mean, Rojo is an interesting one because I think it's fair to say that he's split the Bucs fan base. There's many Bucs fans who are a huge fan of him, and there are many Bucs fans who aren't too sure on him. For me, Bill, I don't know about you, but for me, I think Rojo is very much a confidence player. But it just seems as though BA doesn't have a lot of faith in him.
It just seems to me that every time he makes one mistake, we don't see him again. I tend to think that. I think that BA just doesn't give him a second, in all fairness, the first season he was there, he dropped the ball a lot, made a lot of mistakes, and I thought he'd actually rectified that one. And I quite honestly think he's had a bit of a raw deal, quite honest. But I'm with I'm Marianna on this one. I don't think he'll ever begin the season. We can probably, for the money he's thinking he's worth, we probably will be able to pick up somebody else. I mean, like Sony Michel, who's played with Brady, or something like that, for less money. And I don't know. It's just a bit of a strange one, like, so I don't think he did a lot wrong. He did a lot wrong at all. But I don't think he'll be there within the season at all. As I don't think that, like Dave said, Tyler Johnson will be. I think that's a high possibility. He didn't let us down, but he did drop a lot of balls towards the end.
Especially when we've got the likes of Grayson, who really stepped up. And Brady even come out and said he trusts Grayson, so he's going to want him in there ahead of some other guys, certainly.
Yeah.
So I just want a last point on Rojo, because I think it's a really interesting topic to debate here. If I hope my numbers are right here from what I saw the other day. I believe Lenny got close to 900 yards last season. great return. But then if you think about Rojo's best season, it was just under 1,000. But is it safe to say, David, that maybe the big difference between Rojo and Lenny is that Lenny is just a natural game changer?
Yeah, I mean, he makes those spot plays, and Rojo made plays. I mean, he ran a 92-yard touchdown. He's more than capable of making plays, but it's the mistakes that he makes. It's the fumbles. It's that he can't catch at times, and his blocking isn't good enough. He doesn't read the game enough to protect, and that's unfortunately the difficulty. I think if you 95% of the time you give him the ball, let him run to the edges now, and he'll do a good job. But it's the mistakes that cost us. And that's the big thing with Rojo, which is a shame, really, because, I think he has done it pretty well when we're here. But like I say, the minute he does make a mistake, he sits down and he's sitting on the bench and he doesn't come back. He doesn't seem to get a second chance in games, which pretty much says the coaches haven't really got his back.
And second chances in the NFL are so hard to come by as it is anyway. Let's just take a look at defense now. First of all, a huge loss, Phil, to us defensively. Jordan Whitehead has gone to the New York Jets. Again, wish him all the best. What a player he's been for our secondary. The Jets are getting a great player.
Yes, they are. Get a great player. Yeah, but we've signed. We've signed this Logan Ryan, who Brady knows, and I get a feeling that Brady's had some input into that one as well. So he's coming towards the end of his career, but still a very good pickup. So I'm not too concerned with that. With that position, even though I've been hearing that there's rumours about the Honey Badger coming to join us, but
yes,
and he's still out there. He's still out there, isn't he? And so is Gilmore as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got enough money for those two, so I've got a sneaky feeling. We've got.
I think Matthew coming is a very high possibility. We know his relationship with Bruce Arians. I wouldn't be surprised if he did sign for us, even on a short-term deal.
Well, no, but obviously Mike Evans is going to have to restructure his contract again for us to do it. And actually, he'll be paying us after that. But I just look at everything. Like today, I just looked when we signed Fournette. I just shook my head. I thought, where have they found the money from this time? So I think we'll be towards the end of the free agents list. I can't see as many more big names coming in. I really can't. And we haven't signed the Dominican Sue yet, so
no.
There's another one we've got to sort of like try. So if he does come back,
And Will Goldson as well, still yet to be re-signed.
Yeah,
another big player who we need to getting back. David, JPP, what do we think is going on there?
I think it's a less than 50-50 call that he'll be back. I think he's openly admitted he's been struggling with injuries and not really able to play the last 2 years. Has he reached the end? Possibly not. He's certainly close to it, though, I think, which is a shame. But nobody goes on forever, do they?
No.
I mean, let's say JPP does decide to call it a day or move to another team. I mean, JTS, is he ready to take that starter role?
Well, he's got to be, hasn't he? He's
next man
up. You're in. You've got to do it. He showed lots of glimpses of it last year. He showed promise. He got plenty of game time under his belt. We know he's got huge arms and stop players, but it's sort of that stuff in the box that we really need him to sort of improve upon.
But Marianna, even if the coaches aren't too sure on Joe Tryon Shanika, have I said it correct? I still can't quite say the last of his name right. There is one player who I think really came out of his shell last season. That's Nelson, who is looking at like a great second string. Could he potentially step up?
I mean, that's absolutely a possibility. I think we've got players that have played those sort of backup roles and have been able to step up, as you say, next man up all the time. So we've had depth there. I do think like David says, I think JPP very much is a 50-50 whether we see him back. whether he goes somewhere else or whether he decides to call it a day, to be honest, with the injuries that he's had and struggling as he has been, particularly with his shoulder. He's been great for JTS to learn under. You couldn't start, I think, learning under a better person to sort of learn the position. So I think we've been really lucky there. And I think that rubs off onto the other players. And that's what you see. I think, when you've got a Shaq Barrett one side and a JPP the other side, that sort of thing rubs off onto the younger players. So I think we've definitely got a good chance of again, someone stepping up. Again, I think this is where you potentially look to the draft. I think, the likelihood is that first round pick goes probably to either O-line or D-line. They're probably the biggest holes for us to fill at the moment. And I think, we've seen that at 32, we can pick up a very good D lineman. So, picking a few picks earlier might be that little star that we pick up, that little gem that can step right into the D line.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very fair points there, Marianna. Phil, let's just discuss a bit more about the NFC South in general. I think as Bucs fans, we are licking our lips at what we are seeing going on elsewhere. Interesting QB situation now for the Saints, Panthers, and the Falcons.
Well, you could say that, couldn't you? I mean, ever since Brady has decided to come back, I think everybody has run away. I don't fancy this. I'm off. And people retiring left, right, and centre and jumping ship. And I couldn't even tell you who the Falcons' wide receivers are anymore, to be quite honest. So yeah, it is. I mean, you've got Marcus Mariota. You've got the two picks of the draft, Winston and Mariota in the same division. And then of course you've got Sam Darnold. All first round picks and all potentially haven't exactly reached the potential that they promised. So yeah, I'm quite confident about our division. We were saying before Brady returned, well, I don't think we're going to even do well in our own division. Now things have changed dramatically on so many fronts. It's untrue, but it's just so incredible what's going on in the NFL.
I mean,
Go on, sorry.
I mean, the Saints. I mean, it's not just losing Sean Payton as well. It's going to be huge for them to loss of identity.
Massive.
That's a fair point there, David. But of course, the person who is now their head coach, so I've got his name, but he's their now ex-defensive coordinator, who, sorry to be Mr. Pessimistic here, but always seemed to have our number whenever we played the Saints. So is much really going to change there, do we think, honestly?
Yeah. I think it's going to change quite a lot, actually. Yeah, records are there to be broken, aren't they? I can see the Saints home and away going to be a really interesting game next year. Because I suppose somebody's going to ask at the beginning of the season, which is going to be your big game? It's going to be the Saints home and away. It's going to be just revenge time, this one. It's oh dear.
I mean, the Falcons have just imploded.
Yes, funny you should say that, David. I was thinking
they
that.
Really, they overachieved
Matt Ryan's
last year.
Matt Ryan's gone as well.
But I mean, they overachieved last year, getting 7 wins, really, when everyone looked at them saying terrible. Then they were looking to get Watson. So they sort of, entertained that, upset Matt Ryan, who held back on his restructure. Fortunately elsewhere, Matt Ryan said, I've had enough of this, and he's gone to Indy and leaving a 40 million dead cap space with the Falcons as well. I mean, apart from our friend Cordell Patterson from last year and Pitts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's all right. Pitts is coming to us. Don't worry about it. It'll be him and Sharsky 2023 as at the Bucs. That's what I'm hoping for.
And do you think Mariota will stay fit for a whole season?
Oh, that's a good question. Do we think Jameis will manage to stay fit for a whole season? Obviously it was horrible the way Jameis went out last year, of course.
There's one bonus. I was thinking about this earlier on tonight. One bonus that I think everybody's overlooked. We were talked about getting Russell Wilson. We was also talked about getting Deshaun Watson. With Brady coming back, we have saved all those draft picks, and we would have had to give them away.
Thank goodness as well.
Yeah, I mean that is one big. I was thinking that tonight. One big bonus that is, because we one of our big strengths has been the drafting of Jason Light. There's just recently, Winfield and Devin White and Tristan Wirfs, all these players that have actually started, and they are the backbone of our team now. We really need this draft to plug some holes.
I mean, in fairness, the Falcons, they did get a 3rd round pick from Matt Ryan. What a deal.
Every cloud. Oh, it's certainly going to be hopefully a very exciting NFC South from our perspective. Obviously, we've got to try and win the South again. So brilliant. So I do want to move on to another topic now, everybody. It's very exciting for us as Bucs UK members and Buccaneer fans. Very exciting for the Buccaneers as well. It was announced, was it late last year, I believe, that the Germany is the area that the Buccaneers are going to be focusing their growth on, their international growth on. And of course, they are going to be the home team for a game in the 2022 season. It's a road trip for us, Phil. We are going to be going to Germany. What a great opportunity.
It's going to be absolutely amazing, and the interest from our fans in the Bucs UK has been incredible. I've had so many questions of can I order some tickets, and I said, well, let's find out when it is first before we start doing things like that. But I'd just like to say, please everybody go on the forum, look at the Lotus updates on there. All the as soon as the game is announced, then we will start doing something about it. But until we know the date of the game and all the information, we can't do anything. But yes, I think it's going to be a huge Bucs UK presence in Germany.
And just sticking with yourself for a moment, let's discuss some more club news. Of course, we are in at the membership renewal period, and it seems to be going very, very well.
Yes, we're. I think we've just reached 370 today, which is from a cold start, which is absolutely incredible. I will say, can I just record my thanks to Mr. Tom Brady, who has literally put 50 of those on straight away, instantly. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible for a cold start. So we're looking to get back up to the number of where we were last year, and I can't see a reason why we shouldn't do it.
And if there are any Bucs fans out there who live in the UK, Phil, who aren't members of this club, tell them what do they need to do? How do they join Bucs UK?
Just go on our website at www.bucsuk.co.uk and just have a look. It tells you all what to do there, how to pay, and everything. And come and join us, because we're a very sociable club and have meetings and everything, and it's all on there. So yeah, come and join us and join the fun, join the family.
Phil, it's www.bucsuk.org.
.org. Sorry, mate.
Thank you, David. If you weren't going to do it, I was there to do it.
You've only been running it 30 odd years, Phil. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm 67 this year, lads.
Nah, you don't look a day over 21, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
You're welcome anytime. David, recently our club survey went out, and of course the Bucs UK Awards are coming up soon as well. What can you tell people about that?
Yeah, they are indeed. So it's really important. Every year we do a survey of all of our members, where we get everybody to tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, how can we improve the club. And that's really the most important thing, because at the end of the day, Bucs UK is for our members. We're not a big media organisation. We're all about actually providing the best community for our members. So we need to make sure that we're meeting your needs. So if you haven't already done it, go on the forum, get the link to the survey, complete that. So that'll tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, but also gives you a chance to do some voting on various categories about best Bucs player of the year, best offensive, best defensive, special teams, and also we've launched this year member of the year. And again, I think that's really important to throw back that actually it's about what the effort that all of our members put into the club is most important. So that's quite a prized award that we're really looking forward to give away this year. And so following that, we've got our AGM and summer social that we're working on at the minute. So date for your diaries, the 18th of June. We expect it to be in what is our normal location. I'm just working on tying that up now, but it's just, we can't wait to meet everybody again. We had 2 brilliant game meets last season, and we're definitely going to do them again this season. But really, with all the excitement around the club at the minute, planning for Germany, as you said, and that, you know, we can't wait to meet everybody again in person. So we're really looking forward to that.
Fantastic. So some really, really great stuff coming up for you, our members. As Phil said, if you're not a member of Bucs UK, go to our website, www.bucsuk.org, and all the information is on there for you. So that brings us to the end of our show. I just must very quickly say a huge thank you to Bucs Report, as always, for helping us to promote our podcast. They're a great bunch of guys over there. Please go and check them out. Their links are in the description below. Just before we do properly finish, though, I'd just like to come to each of you quickly just to round off. I'm just curious, this off-season, we've touched on it briefly already. Is there anything in particular you really like to see, whether it's a focus on the draft, if it's a particular player we signed? What's that main thing you'd like to see happen? David, I'll come to you first.
Well, it'd be nice to see Gronk back, just to sort of fill that gap. And then an exciting draft of some powerful linemen.
Marianna, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a big college fan as well. So the draft always kind of is my little sort of off-season thing to look forward to, and it kind of at the end of the draft and when the fixtures come out as well, just before that, that's my sort of highlight to the off-season. That keeps me going. So yeah, it'll be looking forward to seeing who we pick up in the draft, what trades we make. It's the fun of staying up until 6 o'clock in the morning watching the first round, just so that you can get to pick number 27. At least it's not as bad as last year.
Until we trade out, and then you stayed up for no reason. Which is always a fear when you're that far down.
The fear last year that was going to happen.
Absolutely. And by last but by no means least, Phil, I've got to give you the last word.
I'm interested to see next year what Carl Trask is going to do. Bruce Arians keeps saying we signed him for a reason, and he must be so happy that Brady's coming back. He's got another year to learn under this scout. He was a good college quarterback, and I'd be interested to see how he turns out next year. Whether he's actually the backup, for example, it'd be very, very interesting to see.
See, Phil, that's mine as well. I'd love to see him actually get suited up for games and be our backup. When if we bring Brady out because we're flying ahead. It's all very well seeing him in pre-season, but I want to know what he's like in a regular season game. Until we see him on that field, we don't really know what we've got with him really properly.
No, they've kept him back, and I think it might be time to bring him on as Brady's backup and really learn from the man.
Absolutely. Well, Marianna, Phil, David, thank you ever so much. Fantastic discussion. What an exciting off-season I think we've got ahead of ourselves. It's already, we're 6 days into the 2022 season, and already it's been an absolute whirlwind. So I can't wait to see what the rest of the off-season holds for the Buccaneers. Once again, to all you listeners and watchers, thank you ever so much for tuning in. We will be back with another episode soon, and especially when the season starts in September, we'll be bringing you those weekly episodes like we always do. So enjoy the off season, and as always, take care and go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. .co.uk.
It's so dope.
And
What
we'll,
was Artie?
and we'll stop record. We'll stop record at that point. I hope Kieran finishes
Yeah,
the episode after you
That
did
has
that.
to go into the bloopers.
That's got to be at the end.